Like this is pretty good. Now, please tell me if you can see really well, my hands, whatever, okay? Because I think that the light this way should be really nice. I mean, for you. Because I am always worried, the quality of the image that you will see on the screen. I tried my best to organize better those lights so that you have a real nice white and a good contrast to see when I sketch what I sketch, the quality of the sketch. Okay, so when we make an ideations, okay? Ideations, I said, is the beginning. It's the beginning of any project. And one thing I would say is that, for example, okay, usually when we make those new projects, those design contest projects, it's always about something that is electrical. It's for new mobility, okay? So let's imagine that we are doing something for new mobility, okay? So I start sketching. I know that I have to make a compact pod or compact, probably modular vehicle, all right? And then I have to decide already what type of vehicle, okay, what type of vehicle I have to do. Because I can make a tall vehicle, something like this, for example. You see? Or I can make this is a vertical, okay? Or I can make an horizontal vehicle, okay? Something that is like this. So when we're talking about pods, city EV vehicle, we always have to think about some really nice shapes that are very functional, of course. So the key word here is that we want to do something that is different, that is fun to drive or to be taken by, because this could be very well autonomous driving. Why not? And the good thing is that we also want to make sure that those shapes really are functional. So when I look at this, I would say that if I sketch about this one, for example, I can imagine also to do this and then create a space here where I can put, I don't know, like a bag in the back. You see? So that's ideation. Okay, now we are just crashing ideas. We are not thinking exactly, if it's gonna be working 100% or whatever. What we are looking for now, it is really the ideation, the idea. Okay. So I do this like that. And then, of course, when I think of this type of vehicle like that, we are standing up inside. Okay, I'll just complete a little bit my little sketch. All right, so this one, for example, we could make this darker. This can become a sort of back bag. You see, it looks nice. And here we can imagine there is a system that will block this bag. Maybe it's sliding. I put it and I put inside the guy there, and then he locks. Hi Eddie, ciao. What's the best way to tell how wide your card drawing should be? Thanks. Well, that's about proportions, Eddie. You are asking about proportions there. And we will see that now, because I will use this sketch, and then we'll make, you know, the right proportions. So I go a little bit with my shading, but be careful, because I always use the line quality, the shading. Always try to have a nice quality, so that when anybody can look at this sketch, they can say it looks nice. Okay, that's the objective. It looks nice. So now I do the wheels. Okay, so let's make the top that was a little bit round. Here we put a nice radius. Has to look a little bit aerodynamic, even if aerodynamic is not really the main concern for those vehicles that go really slow. Okay, so what we have here now, okay, so here we have, you know, our, let's say, our front view. Now, of course, the proportions are a little bit different, because we have to adjust it. It's more like that. And now that we see the front, we can imagine the lights, for example. All right, so just a second, I make my phone. All right, so, you know, now we have something in front of us that makes us think. Is it good? Is it bad? What can I change? How can I improve it? Okay, of course, there is always a lot of improvements we can make. All right, and now if I do this here like that, I can make the back. You see? Okay, let's try. I'm going to keep practicing my proportion when I get home. Good. Thanks for taking the time to teach us. You're welcome, Eddie. It's a pleasure. It's my pleasure. Okay, so now that I'm looking at that, I know that the tire is more over here, you know? And then we have to put this back bag. So let's do something squarish for the moment. So now I take this off. I'll try to complete a little bit better the overall sketch. All right, so here we have some quick sketching, quick ideation sketching. Now with those three, we could already plan a sort of composition. Now, if I had Photoshop here, I would, scan this and then with Photoshop make a very nice composition. Invincible Sully, ciao, welcome back. Loved your video on tips on reviewing portfolios. Thank you very much. It gave me an understanding for applying to specific jobs. Thank you. I'm not in car design school, but I have a plan that hopefully flourish. Well, I really hope it for you, Invincible Sully. I really hope that it's going to work for you. And if this channel can help you, I would be very, very happy. Now we have 3/4 front, 3/4 back, side view. Let's make the top view, because top view is very important. Now I show you another easy way, quick way to make a top view, and then we make another top view, okay? Because we make an easy one, quick one, and then we make another one that is a little bit more complicated. When rendering a car, do I use the 1, 2, 3 box theory? Right tank. Yes, of course, Eddie. It's very important. It comes from the cube, the three values. Yeah, I explained that in some of my videos too. So this is, here we have the side, okay? Now I'll try to trace my side again. I don't put the line on the ground. I just take the outline. You see? So we have now a sort of a top view of our little module, and now we can fix, all the mistakes, the things, Look. Now this part we make a little dark because it's in shadow. Okay, now this is the main idea, but you will have also to consider other stuff. For example, this object here, okay? This one. How is it? Is it becoming a very important element of this project? So, how do I open? We can imagine that it opens like that. You see? Making a cut line there. Okay. And then we can imagine that we have some graphics on this this probably done it's made of plastic, no, rigid plastic, so that if there is a rain or something, there's no big problem. You know, you can store inside safely whatever you want, and this will be sealed around here. Okay, good, good. But this one, it must have some rigid sections, you know, unless it's not gonna be rigid, the surface. So we have to design, sketch, you see, some graphics like the one I'm making, because this one, if I do this, look, so if this is the surface, okay, in the other view, you see, basically I'm sketching this sort of bag, okay? Okay, so when I have to treat this one, let me put the cut line of our door here. All right. So now what's going to happen? That I have to go a little bit more in detail. That's what I'm interested now. You see? And here there is a good example to the 1, 2, 3, you know, box rules for the lights. Okay, so this is our box. Hey, ciao, Striker, don't worry, I'm very happy you're back. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to make my lines like those three, okay? And I will draw the section for you so that you get an idea of what I have in mind. And this is, I would say, good industrial design approach, okay? So I have my section is like that. Then it comes out, comes up, comes down, comes up, comes down, comes up. Little radius there. There you go. Can you see? So now if I take one of those ultra fine ink pen, technical ink pen, you know, I will do the section. And you will see it much better. Do you see? So that's a nice detail, because there you are communicating to the people, to the engineers, for example, that you understand how you're supposed to make a, you know, a plastic element so that is self-rigid, you know, and that it's creating also very nice graphics. You see? Now you can really see it. Eddie, in the box theory of light, is the value 1 light is always going to be the top of the car and value 2 and 3? Eddie, it depends where you put the light. In my case, I always put the light from the top, you know? For example, look how white is here, very light in this area, dark here, okay? And a little bit lighter on top. It depends on the light. The light is here now. And here, for this one, the light also is from here. So it depends how you place that light that will tell you where are the 3 values, okay? Okay, so now we are making this bag, but it's nice. It's very nice. You see, so now little by little, we have a lots of little sketches, you know, a lots of little sketches, and we're starting to have also details. Ciao Eduardo, bentornato. So now, when we look at this, we could do that. We can put a nice arrow, okay, like that. And then we can write here back, bag. You see? Volevo dire che ho fatto la prova di missione in yard e ora aspetto il risultato. Alright, beh, spero bene per te, non ti preoccupare, stai tranquillo. We'll see. I'm sure you're gonna get in. So you see, that's a detail. You can use this type of combinations to make a nice composition. You see, just this is a very nice composition. Now, let's move on, okay? Let's say that here we want to see a little bit more of that 3/4 front, okay? Let's do it. So I have my bag. So I'm doing a little bit better my line quality. And here we have the lights. So the lights are very important because those are the eyes. So we have to do somehow, some way, something that it looks like it's really pretty. Then let's put in front here a cut line, because we can imagine that we have here the electrical thing, you know, where we put hey Rangres, hello sir, congrats on the AC Milan victory. Yes, grande Milan. Thanks Rangres, thanks. After the Fiorentina match Monday, last Sunday, I was so mad, and now they made a beautiful match, really well done. I really hope that they can keep on playing that way also during the Italian Championship, because that's a big problem. Okay, so now we have the light thing here. Let's make, let's add a little bit of extra shading. So now what I'm doing here, now because I am going into details again, I am thinking about this wheel. What do we have on the other side of the wheel? Once the wheel is outside, you know, like the Twizy. So maybe we have a big disc in, I don't know, carbon fiber, you know, like the Lamborghinis or the Ferraris. And this one will be darker because there you have all the mechanic. You see? Like that. Here it's the opposite. We have interesting graphics, a little bit of shadow. Okay, I have to change pencil. The other one is completely finished, exhausted. You know, the sketch is starting to look nice. This is in shadow. This is in shadow. Okay, you see, it's coming out. Now, another thing I will do, I will start taking care of details around the front face because that's where I want to put the accent. This sketch, it's really to show me that front face. Here we had the back, you know, we were trying to understand, you know, what's going on in the back and all the things we said at the beginning. But now it's time to discover this front. You see, we can do a graphics like that. So because this is glass, okay, let's make a nice reflection. Now I do it that way because as you can see here, it's coming in. Therefore, the reflection cannot be like on a normal windshield, okay? We have to think of a different type of reflection because of the shape that is changing. So the shape is changing here. Okay, let's make that reflection. You see, now we have a front face, and that's really cool. Now, I don't like this part, is too round. Let's make it like that. It's better, I think. You see? Much better. Okay, so if I had to think about the interior, we said, if I take the side view, in the side view, I was doing something like that, you see? Basically. Because I put the person sitting like that, with the feet here. That is the idea. So how it's gonna be here? Center line is there, it's gonna be center. So I'm thinking, how I can sketch this in 3/4 front. I don't know if I'm making mistake. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You see? Let's say that this is pretty much okay. All right. So now, little by little, we have more stuff. Now we have almost a nice story here. Okay. Okay. So let's come back to our top view. However, what I would like to do now, I would like to do something like this. You see, you have to imagine that when you do your sketching, then you can also improvise sketches like this one. And I am still just making a quick sketch that is still in the ideation step. Huh? You see? And then in the back we can show a little bit of our bag. Okay, so shadow. Then we said that here we have our lights. You see? So that's nice. Those are sketches that in general we like a lot to look at. Because here it really shows how you think. Then here in the front we can put an opening, okay, that is for the recharging there. So shadow, shadow. Okay, now that we have those two together, this one looks very small. But what I will do, I will make this one a little bit punchy. You see now the two together are much better. But I'm not finished because now I am gonna add a marker. And you will see that things will change because here we adding a background, and with the background things become more interesting. You will see. So first of all, and I will put the background almost in a random way. Okay, of course I'm always trying to control, but I will make it in a, let's say, in an artistic way. Okay, let's say that. Okay, so now the last thing I have to do, I have to make a little bit of outline, very sketchy, but at the same time under control of this thing, you know. I create lots of contrast where I want the attention, you know, to go. So on the lights, which is the face. Okay. Okay. So what do you think? Now look, we started with this side. Then we made the 3/4 front, 3/4 back. We created a little bit of attention around this bag in the back to understand a little bit more how this could be or what can we do with this. And then we made this top view, slide top view, and then next to it, bigger sketch, okay, that looks really interesting. Okay. So I hope you like it. Tell me, let me know. Tell me something. Then of course we can continue, you know, making it more complete. Grazie Eduardo, grazie. So Eduardo likes it. Eddie, thank you very much. Thank you. So now the interesting thing, let me put also the other wheel on the other side, unless it doesn't, it looks like it's missing. See, now it's better. It looks like, because of that wheel or the other, you know, the two sketches crossing sometimes. So you have to look for everything, make sure that you don't forget anything. Okay. Thank you, Only Striker. Thank you very much. All right. So if you want to offer me a coffee, guys, you know how to do. You know very well how to do. So please, just in case you don't or you can't, that's okay. Don't worry. Grazie, grazie Eduardo. Grazie. Okay, so now I put back the lights, all right? So you don't see the lights inside. They're not too powerful, you know, shooting on my face. Okay, so I would say that this is the final sketch for today. Okay. And the good thing is that you can see how once you make the sketch from side view and you make all the other ones, okay, then it's very easy to start with a big perspective, different perspective, because you already know the car. You know it. Because you have been sketching for an hour, the same one from every side, every perspective. So it's very easy to start getting that thing in your head, you know, mentally. Silvano, grazie, grazie. Thank you very much. Thanks. Guys, you have to share those videos because I still don't have all the, how can I say, the number of visualization that I wish. So you can help me out. You have a Facebook page, put that link. If you have WhatsApp, share the link with your classmates. I am sure that you have classmates that would be interested. Maybe they don't know me. Okay, so at the end, once we do all this, then we get this composition. But at the same time, one thing you can do with Photoshop, if you scan all the sketches, then of course you can take all three, okay, and paste them together in a different way. You can make a background like this one in a different way with Photoshop. So easy with Photoshop. It's so easy. Okay? So today's lesson was about this, how we can start an ideation sketch, ideation sketching of a X project. Okay, we said we were doing a sort of EV pod for downtown in the future city, fully electric, of course. And we decided to use the configuration of the vertical configuration, so somebody that is almost standing up, sitting. And from there on, we start from a side view, at least because that's the way I do. And then we go around. We just discover from every perspective, using simple perspective, because as you remember, we made all perspectives that are made out of side views, just moving on the same plane, the wheels, and those are easy perspectives, very easy. This perspective is more complicated because here we have the 3-point perspective. Okay, this is a 3-point. This one has no perspective vanishing points because everything is horizontal. So you don't have to be worried about where, how do I close my lines because of the vanishing points. So that's why it's easy. Okay. All right. So, Michelle, one question. Why there is not more shadow on the glass in your last sketch? This one. Michelle, tell me if it's this one. You mean here? My last sketch was this one. Yes. Anyway, Michelle, this sketch, it's really the beginning of a sketch. It's not a final sketch. So I put a quick sketch on the side or on a little corner of the page because while I am doing my tip-up classic perspective, I have in my mind the idea of watching that car from another view, a very awkward view. So I felt like I had to sketch it right away on the blue car. So you mean this one? This was my last sketch. But why is not more shadow in the glass? Because this is a quick sketch. That's why. In the quick sketch, in some cases, like here, I draw transparent. In some other cases, I don't. Look at this one.